Man, it has been such a slow week. I have no idea what we're talking about. Brad, anything for you tonight?
Nope, nothing on my end.
Sean, what about you? What do you think we're doing?
Screw that lizard, man. This is Red Card Radio.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whenever you're listening from. Thanks for tuning in. Red Card Radio is a weekly look at the Premier League from three friends who support different clubs. My name is James. I support Arsenal. Down below, that's Sean. He supports Tottenham. We are the ever-present people on this podcast because Brad had last week off, and he supports Chelsea. Good day, gentlemen. How are we doing? Are you guys enjoying your early summer transfer window? Did you guys enjoy it? It's over now.
Yeah. Chelsea did what Chelsea does. They put out a bunch of briefs about how we're signing people, and then that are like, actually not 12 years old. And then we missed the valuations by about like 5 to 7 million.
Sean, did Tottenham make any signings?
Yeah.
In this
what did Tottenham do?
transfer window?
Nope, just some subtractions.
Oh, okay. Well, before we get into those subtractions,
talk about it shortly.
If you could hit that subscribe button, ring the sub notification bell, hit it with a follow, 5-star review on the podcast sites. If I remember to get it uploaded there, I apologize. Last week's episode is not on the podcast sites, but this week's, I promise you it is. Really appreciate all those things. If you listen to the end and then hit the share button, helps us out tremendously. Drop a comment down below. Tell us what you think, what you hope your club does over this summer, or what you hope, what new creative rule Chelsea bends in order to make it so they don't have PSR violations. We'd love to hear from you.
Hold on. We're not the most egregious at this.
You absolutely are. Don't joke.
Manchester United is 100% more egregious.
Manchester City, you mean?
No, United. City just makes up numbers. United uses like $100 million from the government to write off his PSR. That's how they survived last year.
Bro, you're about to sell your turf to your soil and the soil to the women's team, which has now created the evaluation of which you can transfer back.
Yeah,
wait. We actually did legitimately sell part of the women's team now. Serena Williams' husband.
Again.
Well, so you can't claim it. You can't claim it because it's sold to another entity, right? You can't claim it anymore.
Sure. I don't know.
The women's team, I don't even know if Chelsea Football Club, the men, get to claim the women's. They're separate entities now.
It's all blue co. We're all blue. But anyways.
Oh, so you sold it to yourself.
So you are admitting fraud.
What?
Got him.
That was a fraud. What? That's a fraud. What?
Okay,
shell game.
We've beat around the bush enough. Sean, why did?
Are you okay?
Why? Yeah, are you okay? And why did Daniel Levy wait until Friday at 4:45 p.m. to announce the sacking of Ange Postecoglou, European champion Ange Postecoglou?
I'm gonna get back a little bit for this because
he's gonna yell
in radio. No, not gonna yell. Because he's a coward. That's why. Face the media like a man, you lizard. Get out there. Don't put out the Friday news dump. Get out there. Say it with your chest that I fired the last manager that won a trophy in 17 years. First European trophy in 40 plus. Go out there and say it with your face, lizard.
And it seems the universally liked manager by all the players, right? All the players liked him.
That's the bigger issue.
According to Invert the Mason, we're going to lose Bentaker. Yeah, we're breaking here first. RCR Media is reporting that Invert the Wing is Ryan Mason. So Romero's agent has been vocal that if Ange is gone, he is going to try to leave. So that was already out there. But according to Invert the Mason, Bentaker, Son, Kulusevski, also same. They were all the locker room loved Ange.
I also heard Van de Ven.
Well, so that's the other part that I was going to get into. That most of the rest of the team are Ange signings: Vicario, Van de Ven, Madison, Solanke, Brennan Johnson. Most of the rest of the team. So the only ones that really aren't are Basuma, Sarr, Udogie was a Emporo were Conte's. Spence was technically a Conte, but he was a club signing, if you remember. Yeah, famously. Yes. But Spence turned his attitude around and got his game back together under Ange, and I believe that's probably due to a belief in the manager that believes in him. You know what I mean? Like, so he's probably tied to Ange.
But a lot of these players are going to have a hard time because they've got contracts. If you got more than 2 years on your contract, if you got 3 years or more, you have such little leverage.
Yeah. Probably the only ones that have leverage to bully their way out of contracts are probably like Romero, Son, Kulusevski, Bentancur. Like those four probably can say, "Hey, listen, I'm not playing."
Kulusevski
Son has a year left.
Well, yeah, Son can say, "Hey, I want to go now."
Even if he had 7, if he said, "I want to go," Tottenham would do it.
Yeah,
the biggest club legend in Spurs history.
Whoa!
Romero probably has the best market value in terms of like
he has 4 years left.
Yeah, but
he has 4 years left.
But in terms of his valuation to other clubs,
yes,
other clubs would be interested in signing Romero. I also think that's true of Kulusevski and Bentancur, but maybe at a lesser degree. But Kulusevski and Bentancur have been at the club for like 2.5 years or so.
They were part of Paratici's first like wave.
Yeah, he raided Juventus for them, and he loaned them. Was Kulusevski on like a 2-year loan?
They were both 1-year loans, and that we made permanent.
Yeah. So
I don't know if they were obligated or not. I don't know if they were with obligations, but we made them both permanent.
Yeah. So, but they've been at the club for
They were both January, so I think we might both be right. They were both January, so they could have been 1.5 years.
I think that's what it was. It was 6 months with an option, and then if they exercise the 1-year option, there's probably an obligation at the end of 18 months. It's probably how it was structured. But like those 4 players seem like they have the most leverage to get away if they wanted to. But I mean, like, we've seen clubs with terrible manager retention recently. Think about Manchester United, Chelsea. It's not like there's a mass exodus of players. I mean, like Chelsea have this issue right now where they just have 3,700 players in the first team. And, you know, now and this problem will start to go away a little bit with Enzo sticking around for a while. Chelsea will have a large offloading over the next 18 months of people that Enzo doesn't value while still making signings. But, you know, there is a manager rumored who we'll talk about here in a second, but say the new manager comes in, he's going to want to make a bunch of signings, and Spurs, to a large degree, have a lot of financial flexibility. They'll be in the Champions League, so they can bank on that money, and so they'll be able to be active in this market, and I don't think that there's really a wage bill issue at Spurs at present. So like there's going to be wiggle room to sign more players and to have a heavier squad going into next year. But it might take a few years to move people out who don't want to be there anymore. Now, maybe they don't want to be there right now and the new manager changes their mind. Maybe that's an option. You never know. But
yeah. Well, so the interesting thing is that this particular manager that's coming in, and I don't know if you wanted to save it.
I was saving it. I was saving it for you to bring it up. I was trying to allow you to bring it up.
The rumored goalkeeper, I'm sorry, I'm looking at Brentford's roster. The rumored the rumored
why are you looking at
managerial selection is Thomas Frank.
From Brentford.
Thomas Frank, yes, from Brentford. So I was looking to see if he had any center backs that he wanted to bring over, because that's what we're gonna need. He runs a 3-man back over there. Doesn't look like they have anything of note.
I think that's flexible. I think he doesn't necessarily. I don't know. I think he's running 4 at the back too.
That's what I pushed back on Tammy for. Is did he run a 3-man back at? Did he run a 3-man back at Brentford because he had to, or because that's what he wants to do? That's what I don't know. If he wants to do it and he wants to do it at Tottenham, we've got an issue, because we already, in a 4-man back with 2 center backs, we had issues last year where we had 1 healthy center back for about 4 months.
I think you guys have 3 center backs on the roster.
Yeah. And if Romero wants out, we're back in another issue. So
Well, I mean, you need two center backs. You got two center backs on the roster. This perfect. Why would we pay more money for more center backs when we only need two and we have two? This doesn't make sense. It's a waste of money.
You're right. This is 1940s lizard technology and logic. Yeah, where all the players run 80 yards per match, and
Yeah.
yeah, they play all
They have
all
a pack.
year.
They have
every
a
game.
pack of smokes and a large cheese pizza after the game. A couple beers in the locker room. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I don't want to hear about any records when the ball wasn't filled with air and it was just rubber. But anyways, so I was looking to see if there's any center back of note to bring over, and there's not. Vandenberg, sure, like Vandenberg's fine. I like Vandenberg. He's 23. That's probably it.
Well, the question is,
I
are
mean,
there players that are going to move the needle, right? Like,
no,
that's
that's what I meant. No,
I think
like the only one, it's Damsgaard, and that's midfield. Like we're if in a 3-man back, it makes the 10 more important. For distribution, because the wingbacks will be up and up in attack, which we're used to that anyway. Both Poro and Udogi get forward in Ange's system, so that's not something we're unfamiliar with. The other thing I was going to mention is Conte liked wingbacks, and he was sort of orienting the squad. Orienting the squad to reflect that.
Yeah.
And he was gearing towards a 3-man back because Conte is a 3-man back manager when he's fully set up. He ran a 4-man back for parts of when he was at Tottenham because he had to, not because he wanted to. And when we were healthy and when we had the manpower to do it, we would run 3 men back, and Poro would be the wing back and Udogi would be the wing back. Yeah, so those two players can be wingbacks, and are willing to be wingbacks, and especially in Poro's case, he really is a wingback. He's not a right back. He's not very good defensively, which is okay because his service is good and he finishes really good. When he gets a clean strike at the ball, I mean, there's a lot of factors that goes into him being a good finisher. He needs the right
everything is
conditions.
perfect. He's really good, guys.
And the ball bounces great to him. He can strike it really clean. But he does it well. I say all that in jest, but truly, like 2 or 3 times a year, he has a worldie where it's just, where did that come from? But he does it a couple times a year. He does it all the time from the outside the box.
Rumor is also he wants you guys to compete for Mbeumo, to have him come up, depending, I guess, on who leaves. So Son leaves.
I thought Mbeumo is already gone.
It's not a here we go yet, so it is not done yet.
Oh, that fell through. Okay.
Well,
it hasn't fallen through.
It hasn't fallen through, but the transfer window is closed.
Finished. Correct. The transfer window reclosed again.
You guys should know where I stand on him. This is the man that I wanted to get relegated twice last year.
No,
I don't want that man.
No. That was
Mbeumo.
No, that was
because
Neil
he was
Mope.
on loan from.
That was Neil Mope.
Oh, it was Mope.
Yeah,
it
was
Mope.
It was Neil Mope. You want Mbeumo. He's a baller.
He is a legit baller.
I don't like.
He's a baller, but I think it was when Conte was fired that I said Thomas Frank would be a good hire for you guys.
Yes, you've been.
Frank. I think it was me. I was on the train for you guys for a while.
I said I wanted Frank instead of Ange.
Before you knew Ange.
Yeah, before I knew Ange.
Yeah. Because I think back when Graham Potter was still at Brighton before he came to Chelsea, when he should have gone to Spurs.
So let's. Do you have a question, Brad?
No.
Okay.
I was just rambling.
Cool. So if we back it up some and think, irrespective of who the manager ends up being, what do you think the deficiencies are right now in Tottenham that can be addressed in the transfer market?
All right. So I want to back up just slightly, and then I'll address your question, because we as a podcast have been very consistent, and I want to remain still are. consistent. Where we as a podcast believe if the decision was to fire Ange 2 months ago, first of all we should have done it, but the decision shouldn't change because he won a trophy. I think we've been pretty consistent in that. Of if you've decided that you need to move on from a manager, uh, results shouldn't deter you from making that decision. If
I,
that was the estimation,
I
we've been pretty
generally agree.
consistent in
Yeah,
that.
I agree with that sentiment.
Sure. But I
If
think
you've
also it
decided,
depends on the trophy too, right? Like a
sure,
European trophy means a lot more than like the Community Shield.
I was on board of saying when I was on board of saying that when Ange won that, I was like, well, we can't fire him now,
Well, that's
right?
what.
Like I said that.
So that's what Ten Hag won the FA Cup last year, and so Ineos kind of felt like they had to stick with him. They had this
And it
2-week
didn't work.
period. It may have worked, it may not have worked in the long run. It didn't work. But I've been on record, we've had that statement that we think that I hate when teams are like
if you win this weekend,
if
then
you win the next game.
Oh yes,
I hate that. I think it's so stupid.
That I'm against. That
that's what I meant. That we're pretty consistent. If you're gonna fire him, just fire him.
Yes, I agree. But my thought process is Tottenham shouldn't have fired him, because you're not going to find somebody who is appreciably better, that's objectively a better manager than Ange. And you've built the squad, and there's a culture in the squad that's starting to foment. I thought that they should stick with him, and you won a trophy. I think that they could have gone on to some things here, but now you just reset the clock and you start over. And now you look at someone like Thomas Frank and you say, I think his goals for this season, coming up, assuming he gets hired, his goals will be get into the Champions League, go make a deep cup run. You don't have to win anything per se, but make us look respectable in the cup, in all the cups that we're playing in, and go qualify for the Champions League next year again.
Don't lose 22 matches.
Now, where I think Frank will succeed, and I will answer your question.
Thank you.
Where I think Frank will succeed is the not overthinking, because he has not overthought a second since he got in. Do you remember the first year that Brentford came up? And I believe they beat Arsenal their first game up, and that was the Ramsdale debacle game.
Well, they cheated, but yes, they won.
Okay, they cheated. All right,
yeah,
Brad. Yeah.
They fouled.
Everybody cheats.
Okay, it's perfect. I'm wearing my Ramsdale kit right now. They failed. Okay. They fouled him. I'm gonna turn around so everyone can see it. Yeah, it says Ramsdale on it.
Yeah, but that was there, and then not long after that, they beat the brakes off United at Old Trafford. I believe that's the same season. It was like 5-1 in like 30 minutes at Old Trafford. I believe that was the same season. But anyway, my point is, because they had Tony. Tony scored like a hat trick in like the first half against United. And since they came up, Frank was like, we're whooping wholesale Hind in here. And I'm not like, that's what it is. And he's not scared of the moment. And he's not scared of that's where I think him in the Champions League, it's going to be just fine. He's going to go into these. He's going to be just fine.
I think I have a slight pushback. I'm not saying.
I just don't think he'll overthink it. Is what I'm saying. He'll just rock up, be like, "This is the best. This is the best setup we got. We're rolling with it. See what happens."
But see, that's easy to do at Brentford, right? Not overthink, because what are the expectations at Brentford? To not get relegated.
Maybe get a cheeky Europa League or Conference League push. Maybe steal 8th.
If you end up in Europe, fantastic. And if you end up in like the quarterfinals of the FA Cup, that's a great year for Brentford, right? Yeah. So it's not very difficult to overthink. What are you overthinking? Hey, we're going to try and disrupt what that top 6 team is doing, right? But now you're creating the plan as the top 6 team, that you're going to be the one creating the plan that's going to try to be like rebuttal. You're the one that's expected to now win.
Hold on 1 second, Brad. You have to use the terminology big 6 instead of top 6, because Spurs finished 17th.
Yeah,
you're right. My bad. But you're right. The big 6 teams. You're one of the big 6 teams, and so now you are the one that has to overthink, because you don't know what that other team is going to do against you.
Yeah,
Does that make sense, Sean?
the other team's goal is to stifle you. Their entire game
Correct.
plan is going to change in order to try and make it difficult for you, or they're going to park 10 players behind the ball and you have to try and create goals. Whereas at Brentford, nobody played 10 men behind the ball against you. Everyone tried to play against you for the most part, and then you could score a goal in the first 30 seconds, you know?
Yep. And you could run over the top. There are so many different things that you could do
But
at Brentford that not necessarily not possible at Tottenham, but it's different, right? So I'm not saying that it might be too big for him. I don't think that, but he's also probably going to overthink some stuff at some point.
But the quality
screw
of
some things up.
players, in theory, the quality of players is going to be better. And so they're more equipped and better equipped to deal with those challenges. That's the theory, at least, right?
Sure. Yeah.
So our deficiency.
Yes.
That's what you were asking.
Yes.
Yes.
I want to make sure I bring it back, and I want
Thank
to
you.
ask your question. The deficiencies, I think, are in the final third of the field.
Interesting.
Yeah, because I feel like our defense, when healthy, is one of the best back lines in the Premier League, like completely.
Okay.
Poro, Romero, Van de Ven, Udogie, or Spence, however you want it. Spence is a lot better. So if I replace Poro with Spence, that's a very stout back line, I believe. Sar, Bentaker, Bergvall, Gray, however you want to orient the back half of the midfield. But going forward, it's Madison staying healthy. It's Son underperformed / injured / old. I don't know what it was, but he has definitely declined. It's not having, and then all between Richarlison and Solanke, it's having a scarecrow sit in the middle, a rigid 11, or 9, just sit there. So there's no movement or creativity happening in the offense, and that's the one thing. The one glaring deficiency is the one creator, and I'm not saying creator in a sense of a number 10. I'm saying someone to be creative with the ball at their feet to open passing lanes, whether that's a winger, whether that's a 10. And Madison is okay with it with his passes when he's healthy and when he has the ball and when people are making cuts off the ball. There's a lot of factors that go into Madison being that person. But there's no creativity in the final third. And that's something we need. There's no Trossard creating with the ball at his feet or back cuts. You know what I mean? There's nothing
you're talking about
like that.
An individual player who's going to unlock the defense. It's like someone like Son of 3 years ago who had the ability to have the ball and unlock the defense.
Take somebody on. Draw other defenders, and then open up.
And that's the part. It's the draw the extra defenders, draw the extra tension to then allow for there to be open space and open players like a Saka. Someone like Saka is perpetually double teamed on the right side, and so when you bring 2 defenders to deal with Saka, in theory,
and it opens up trailing Odegaard all the time.
Exactly.
It just cuts back to Odegaard. Odegaard stings it towards the goal,
and then Odegaard passes to Sesko, and Sesko has his hat trick against Chelsea.
And that's what I mean is that Madison can do that. Madison can receive the ball, find the open pass, and make it if there are cutters. If there are. Yeah. Anyway.
You forget though, Sesko's a Leipzig player. When Leipzig players come to the Premier League, temper your expectations.
Leipzig.
Yeah, well,
Leipzig.
Arsenal signed Leipzig players, and Leipzig players are grade A.
Yeah.
That's
okay.
Right.
Anyway,
Leipzig.
That's what Timo leaped right into everything.
I'm actually quite intrigued by that response because I don't disagree with it wholesale. I mean, obviously, you watch a ton more Spurs than I do, but I was thinking, generally speaking, that your biggest deficiency was high quality depth. At a couple, yes. Obviously, we have lamented the center back issues at Tottenham for the last 12 months, and I know that you believe that's alleviated somewhat because you signed the one guy, Danzo, is that his name, in January.
Danzo's solid, and we
then
also have
the young guy.
the 18-year-old Vuskovic is
But
coming in.
Is
So
that
so at this point, we'll have Romero, Van de Ven, Danzo, Dragusin, Vuskovic, and Davies. So we will have 6 deep
yeah, that's
at that point.
that's pretty decent. Like assuming they're all high quality and can some of those players can play other positions, can play on across the back line.
No, we are
They-
not Arsenal. They
Oh.
play center back. That's it.
I don't
Van de
mean-
Ven can play out. If Van de Ven in a pinch could play a wing back or
Yeah.
a fullback
yeah.
if he had to.
So could Ben Davies, right?
Ben Davies is a left back.
Exactly.
He's not a center back.
That's my point.
He's a center back by trade. But
Yeah. And so I'm saying that there's a little bit of
you
flexibility.
think Drag Knuckles is going out and playing right back? No.
I think Drag Knuckles is maybe put him in the midfield, give him a club. He's ready to just smash some people. He's like Bam Bam. But okay, so creativity in the final third, maybe to alleviate the burden on Madison.
Yeah, and that we get that a little bit from Tell and Audebert. But
I assume Tell was back.
I would imagine. It's up to Tell, honestly, and it probably depends on what manager we bring in and what kind of pitch they give him. But I would imagine Tell's going to want to go back to Munich. I don't see if I were in his position, I would. Yeah. I don't see why he wouldn't.
And the thing about that is that even if even if Bayern Munich don't want you, you still have your options open. You know.
Yeah.
There's
you go back and you get sold as a Bayern Munich player. You're gonna get probably more value than if you were sold as a Tottenham player.
Yeah.
But Audebert was injured often last year, but has a high creativity rate, high take-on rate, which is really, really nice. It's something we don't have in the Johnson will do it, but he would prefer to go around the outside and place a cross. I would prefer that he cuts back a little bit more and tries to take somebody on, but it just doesn't do it as much as Audebert does.
So who have you guys been linked to? Is there anyone in particular at this point in the summer that you guys have been linked to, or it's been quiet? Trips?
No, we've been linked to bugs
Thomas
on
Frank.
a branch. That lizards can.
Okay,
No.
that's good. I like that.
Wow.
Brad, quickly.
Yeah.
Chelsea are gearing up for the Club World Cup.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
We are going to make some money. There's going to be nobody in the stands.
I think it's
I'm just
tremendous.
I'm confused.
I think it's tremendous that the very first thing you think of with this tournament is just that Chelsea are there for a paycheck.
It's 100% what the Club World Cup is. Please tell me that I'm wrong.
So it's just money laundering. Got it.
If you two were in this, if you two were,
you get paid for being there.
Cup, yes, you get we get like 50 mil
for just being there.
Yes,
bro. You know for a fact that if Arsenal were in this, Arteta would be playing Bukayo Saka 95 minutes a game. Declan Rice would be playing 120 minutes a game, and that he'd be out there with the whip, making sure that these players earn the right to win, as he likes to say.
Sure, whatever. But like, it's a preseason. I'm confused. Like, I guess I get what FIFA's vision, what they want it to be, but like,
it needed to be directly after the season if it was meant to be linked to the 24-25 season, because now it does feel like a summer friendly tournament.
Which like, and you have all of the other things on the calendar. This just doesn't make sense in terms of like the calendar of soccer.
And they probably wanted to give the guys a break too, like a 2-week.
But the thing about it is,
because there's internationals.
If in theory these are the best players from the best clubs in the federations, in all the federations, you have to assume that these players are all a number of these players are also involved in international football. And so directly after the club season, international picks up for 2 weeks so that they can get their games out of the way, and then the players can go on a holiday before they have to report back. I heard Arsenal I think are reporting in like 3 weeks, something like that. Like our players are coming back in like 3.5 weeks. The first set of players.
In 10. Yeah, and ours are back today.
Yeah.
First set.
But they're coming back for the Club World Cup, and then I'd imagine that they're going to have more vacation on the back end. I would find it highly unlikely that the players that play in the Club World Cup are then rolling directly into the preseason. Like you would just all those players would get run into the ground. They're going to need time off.
This is what I'm worried about for our season.
Yeah, I think that this is going to have deleterious effects on all of the teams that go deep in this tournament. I think it's going to have huge effects on their league campaigns.
It's a month of playing, like June 16th to July July 16th or July 20th.
And then I'm fairly certain the Premier League starts on August 16th.
Yeah. Like it's a lot.
So he's allowed to use deleterious, but I'm not allowed to use.
Don't say it.
No. Deleterious can be misheard for like one or two things. The other word, no.
Okay.
But no, I mean, look, yes, I mean, we're getting money out. Like, I'm in America. We are all in the USA. How much of the Club World Cup have you guys heard from that's not from me being like, yo, tickets got slashed again?
Bro, you have games in your city and you haven't bought any tickets. Not Chelsea. I would be judging you if Chelsea were in your city and you weren't going.
I would 100% have bought it.
But
also, the games are on my anniversary, so.
Oh, so a date night, you and the wife.
No, I'm not bringing her for date night.
Take the girls. You guys can make a family outing of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I have a friend. I have a friend who is slowly become an MLS fan. He's an Inter Miami fan, and so he's excited that like Messi's going to be playing. He's asking me about it. I'm like, look, man, like all of the teams that are on the international football calendar, the international club football calendar, that go August to May, and they've just played 70 games. They're not going to want to come out to America in 100-degree weather and suffer for this tournament. Like it's going to, if this tournament is being played, it needs to be played in the Southern Hemisphere if it's going to be played in July.
Also,
it can't be played in the summer. It can't be a summer tournament. It needs to be a winter tournament for teams, for these players not to just die.
I've heard also of one team in our group, Flamengo, because we bought a couple of players from them in South America.
Who else is in your group?
Leon.
You know who Leon is. What?
Leon. Club Leon.
That's
Mexico.
That's a Liga MX.
Yeah. They just got added.
Before we get too far in the weeds of
Club
Leon
got kicked out. This isn't up to date. Because we just added LAFC. I know LAFC.
He's ignoring you, Sean.
I don't know who Tunis is. Esperanza Sportiva de
Tunis. Last week, Brad, I'm putting you on the hot seat, and I will stall by giving you our teams. Last week we talked about the soccer tournament, TST, which was over the weekend.
True. Did you see that, Brad?
No, I did not. But anyways.
So it's a fun thing. A lot of clubs. There was Dortmund there, West Ham, Wrexham, Bournemouth's in a contingent. All these are like previous players. They're not current players. They just put teams together,
kit men, things like that.
Yeah, the team that ended up winning was a predominantly indoor team.
Oh, interesting.
Futsal team.
Futsal team, and it's significantly shortened field, 7-on-7. So it brought us last week while you're away to our Premier League 7-on-7. So I want you to put together yours, and you get the time that I read off of our three teams.
What?
To come up with yours. I'm putting you on the spot. So first of all,
what are the rules? Wait. No.
Just Premier League players from last year. That's the only rule.
Premier League players
from last year.
Last year, 7-on-7.
I was like, all right, cool.
No, not all time. No.
Yeah.
Convert as a side note, we also did pick all-time Arsenal, Tottenham, and Liverpool teams.
But we don't need to do that. I want to know your Premier League team from last year, and I will tell you mine. My team is winning out of the three of ours. So I went Ederson at the back, best playing with his feet. You're going to need a goalkeeper with that's good at their feet. Back line, I went Ben White and Van de Ven. Going to need some shiftiness there.
Hold on.
Versatility.
Hold on, I need a notepad. Hold on, because I got to know the positions. Hold on, let me.
You could no positions. You
there
get
was
to make the formation.
I think there was yeah, you make the formation. This was 3 different. I think we had 3 different formations.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
So I went to Nolly. I played a 2-1-3.
I played a 1-2-3.
Yeah. So yeah, he did.
Okay.
So I went Van de Ven, Ben White at the back, Tonali, and then across the front, Trossard, Vardy, and Salah. Love Vardy in this too. That's why I'm winning.
We hated Vardy in this. Both Jimmy and I hated Vardy in this.
You guys are just wrong, is what you are. So anyways, so Jimmy went Allison at the back. Then and in front of that, he went Trent and Lewis Hall. Rodri in front of that. Salah, Isak, and Saka across the front.
Okay.
Not bad.
He put
James,
of
Saka
course, went on the left.
Yeah, Saka on the left. Raya with Saliba in front of him. Is that Cucurella?
Caicedo.
Oh, Caicedo.
Anthony Robinson.
Anthony Robinson. I just, that's my handwriting. I was trying to write it really fast.
Semenyo,
Salah,
and
Semenyo. I just left out words because I was trying to write it. So Semenyo.
All right,
wait, so it's all right. So it's
you need 7 players, 1 goalkeeper.
You need 7 players. Go ahead. I gave you enough time to think about it.
Cole Palmer is 100% in this team.
I know he is.
100%.
He's probably taking. He's probably okay. I'll let you talk. There's no way you're taking the Chelsea goalkeeper.
Who's your goalkeeper?
No.
You need a ball-playing goalkeeper. Allison. All right.
Actually, you know what? No. I'm taking Emmy. I want a shit talker back there.
Oh, there goes the monetization.
Oh.
Oops.
Emmy Martinez. Okay, interesting.
Yep.
That's actually not a bad choice.
It's a terrible choice.
Not a bad choice.
Emmy Martinez is not a great passer. Anyway.
Doesn't need to be when he's in the head of the opposition.
Okay.
I like it thought process.
I got one more spot open. Hold on.
What type of position?
Right,
what kind of
player
are you on? And up front?
Up front. I think so.
Isak. Holland.
I have Isak up front.
Holland.
Oh, you know what? I'm going 2-2-2. You're right. I'm going 2-2-2.
Holland's not great.
He's gonna play Isak.
Holland would be awful at this.
He's gonna play Isak and Holland next to each other. I love it.
All right. So Emmy at the back.
Okay.
Reese and Gavardiol with Caicedo for cover.
Okay.
Palmer sitting in the middle. Huh?
Okay.
Isak and Holland up front.
I know you got 3.
You're bullying everybody.
I know you got 3 minutes to do this, but you're just getting destroyed.
I disagree.
So that's funny. He ran a 2-1-1-2. Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
More like a 3-3, but yeah.
It's more like it's more like a 2. It's 3-3 in defense. 2-2 in offense. But yeah. All right, I dig it.
I don't dig it at all.
You hate it.
I'm gonna text it to Jimmy right now. Hold on. And wow.
We had fun with that last week. I didn't want you to miss out, Brad.
Yeah, no, that was interesting. I wish I had more time to actually think about this and just being like, they score a bunch of goals, let's put them in this, because I probably could come up with a decent team.
That's why I went with Trossard, because he's good with the ball at his feet. Really creative. It's a smaller field. I went with Trossard. I'm surprised you didn't. I'm surprised you didn't go Salah, because he also is really good with the ball at his feet. We all had Salah,
but I was running a 2-1-3 for a second there, and Palmer was on my right, not Salah.
I think in a smaller field you could just run Salah.
Who is your second defender, Brad?
Guardiola. That's actually probably not a bad one.
Plays like a left back, left center back, where Reece James plays a right back, right center back. Can't play that.
It's the same reason I picked Ben White. He's just all around good player. Like he is a defender by trade, but the dude Ben White they both just go forward indiscriminately. So it does
Yeah.
like defender is their title, but they like really like is Ben White really a defender when he's
Look,
in
Yes.
offense?
And listen, and all Reese and Palmer have to do is get the ball into the box, and then Isak and Holland are cleaning up everything.
Yeah, I think that I don't know. I don't know. All right, I'm gonna.
I would change. I would probably change out Holland for somebody, but I'm not sure who yet.
It's the law. It's the law.
Jimmy, when you see this, thank you for your prompt response. But he has 2 words for you, Brad.
Yeah,
He lost.
I'm winning this whole thing. Y'all crazy. I got the 2 biggest bullies up front for goals. Y'all crazy.
All right.
We winning.
That's all we're doing tonight. So if you have any thoughts about Tottenham, we'd love to hear them in the comments. Whatever you think about Tottenham and whatever that is, we'd love to hear it in the comments. If you have any thoughts about the Club World Cup, love to hear that too. And if you still haven't submitted your 7-a-side, I'd like to hear that as well. We'll be back next week. Maybe we'll talk Arsenal. We'll see. And we'll just make our way through the teams. We'll, if there's a team you really want us to talk about over the summer, put in the comments below. If you are a supporter of that team and you have a working microphone and you want to talk to us about it, maybe we could set something up. You never know.
Yeah.
You never know. But until then, hit us up on social media. That guy up top is at KSBradG. Down below is at WhiteHart_Sean. I am at James Tiffany. Collectively, we are at RedCard_Radio. Thank you so much for listening. And we will be back next week. Have a good one.